Maridate, Houston's first private social club for couples.
Chris and I met on MySpace. We started doing music together first, and then we became really good friends, and we were friends for about 5 years. And then we started dating each other in 2008. By February 2009, we were engaged, and by November 2009, we were married. We have 3 children together that we have raised, and we have traveled the world together and eaten some of the best food in the world, and collectively have just built up an amazing network of friends and family and a circle of people that we just love and care about, and they continue to motivate and we continue to motivate them. We build our energy on our relationship with the energy that we can give to other people and the effect that we can have on other people's lives. And we're going on 12 years strong this year through all the obstacles and the goods and the bads. We're still together, and we're here to share our story.
Join Maridate today by visiting www.maridate.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of Maridate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker, Amber.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, matchmaker Amber Neal. It is Working Women's Wednesday. Shout out to our co-host Kadori, who's out of town. Praying for safe travels back today, girl. And y'all welcome in my co-host DJ Houston.
What's up? I'm trying to go armless today because it's so cold in here. I'm hiding underneath Amber's shawl today.
I know.
I was like, don't tip me. I will wear this. I don't care.
If y'all would have seen me 5 minutes ago, I had on my I Love Me hoodie by Kadori. Y'all can get yours at Kadori brand. Check her out. The Kadori I Love Me hoodies are so cute. I love that. Every time I wear mine, I just feel like self-love empowerment all day long. But guys, we have a really good show for you today. It's a really controversial subject because we live in a hookup culture where everybody's hooking up, asking names later. And so today's subject is why you should not sleep with him on the first date. What's your instant reaction to that when you hear me say that?
Guilty. That's all I've thought about since you said it. Guilty.
Really?
Oh, you're not one to be known for.
I definitely. When I have my little day.
Right.
We've all had our hookups. I mean, we've all had the, hit and quit at one night stands. We've all had that. But as you see, they're not here right now. So what we're trying to say is, let me qualify this. Let's qualify. If you are looking for a monogamous, serious relationship, doesn't necessarily have to be marriage. Right. But if you're looking for something long term, if you sleep with them, you will decrease your chance of longevity. Now, let me also say, I have seen couples hook up on the first date and live happily ever after the rest of their life. So can it happen? Absolutely. Is it the norm? Not necessarily.
I don't know. 2021, I feel like it's the norm to hook up on the first date now.
No, you are. But right, exactly. It's normal to hook up on the first date. But again, we're qualifying this if you want a relationship. That's what we're talking about today, guys. So we're going to jump in. We're going to go through it, and we'll have DJ Houston as our devil's advocate. We'll talk about the other side of it. So let's go ahead and jump into our subject.
What's up,
here.
Cece? What's up, Carolyn? What's up, guys? We are live on the Boss Up Houston Facebook page. So y'all guys check us out right now.
Yes.
Those of you watching on Instagram.
So if you chime in today on the Facebook feed, why you think that you should or shouldn't hook up with somebody on the first date, or you heard a success story. You hooked up. You gave up the goods on the first night, and now y'all are married. I would love to know how that happened, because most therapists and experts will tell you have to build the friendship first. You have to build the foundation. Yeah, it might happen, it might not, because see, lust and love look a lot alike. The difference is one is ego-based and one is selfless. It's spiritual. So it really boils down to what are you looking for when you do it, right? And here's the thing too, guys, y'all. I wrote a book in 2015 called How My Kitty Betrayed Me, and y'all can get a copy, just DM me. But it really talks about how being on the front of the women's lib movement, that we've become like men in every sense of the word. We were fighting for equality and education and pay and equal rights. But at the end of the day, we now have sex like men. Studies show that 85% of women surveyed admit they have a plan B guy. We do everything like men. And it's so interesting because I saw another video on Instagram and the guy was saying, he's like, you wonder why we hate you young millennial girls. Is because y'all think y'all are men. Y'all move like men. Y'all want to fight like men. Y'all want to do everything like men. But you're not a man, but then you want to be treated like a woman. So is it still a double standard to expect women not to have sex like men on the first date? Because you know, honey, a man will do what you let him. So if you're giving it up, he's there for the taking. And also, one other question. Are you a lady that tried to hook up with somebody on the first date and they told you no? Or a guy? I mean, have you ever been on a first date? You were willing. You were right down to get the friction on. And then they said no. So tune in on our live feed on Facebook, on the Boss Up Network page. And if you guys are listening to this afterwards on the podcast, you guys can chime in too. Anyone that leaves a comment and tells us your story on if you hooked up or didn't hook up on the first date and how that worked out in your favor, let us know. But today's topic is don't sleep with him on the first date. That is going to be my professional advice because you got to give it time to see a few things about them. Number one, here are 5 reasons why you should not sleep with him on the first date.
Give them to it.
Number 1, if you give it time, you will filter out the wrong men. By not sleeping with somebody on the first date until you're committed, you immediately filter out men that are only looking for hookups. Listen, guys, y'all seen the show Catfish. Y'all know that I remember there was an article in the Wall Street Journal in 2002 called Board of the Rings. And it was saying how if you get past the 7-year itch, you know how they used to say the 7-year itch, now they're calling it the 7-year click with our mouse. If you get past the 7-year mark, they usually have a pretty good chance, right? But they surveyed the top 3 online dating sites in 2002, and I remember distinctly seeing, and I saw the article somewhere, I remember seeing that 38% of people on one of the top online dating apps out there admitted they were married in 2002 before we even got to the point it was a true hookup culture. Right?
Right.
So imagine, here we are 20 years later, if 38% are married 20 years ago, people know Ashley Madison was busted for their tagline is affair guaranteed. And guess what? When they were hacked, I think Anonymous or somebody hacked them, like 80% of their database was women looking for affairs. Women have become like men in every sense of the word. Women want to hook up. Women want to have casual sex, and they don't want to be judged for it. And I can remember back at Salt and Pepper, it's none of your business. If I want to take a guy home with me tonight, it's none of your business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm showing my age, right? But that was our generation. That was our Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, okay? That was our generation, right? But listen, the messaging and the programming is all in the music and TV and what we watch, right?
Right.
And everybody I think most people are followers. There's like a small percent of people that actually are true leaders. But people follow, okay, that's the trend. Okay, that's the trend. And people just jump on trends led by Hollywood. But in Hollywood, if you stay married 7 years, you're like a friggin' dinosaur.
I mean, it's true.
Hollywood glorifies, hey, if it don't work out, just get a divorce. Hey, hook up with this person, hook up with that person. But where does it really lead you? It doesn't lead you to a serious relationship necessarily.
Cece on our Facebook page
Cece
said that she did hook up with her children's father when they were young, and they were married for 16 years.
Nice.
They were married for 16 years, and now they're divorced.
So it goes back to what I'm saying, Cece, is y'all hooked up on your first date, and yes, you did. Listen, love and lust and passion can all feel alike, right? But the reason that, and you can elaborate if you want why you're divorced, I'm not going to speculate, but I am going to say that had you guys given it more time, you might have been able to see, you might have been able to filter out he was the wrong man for you. Ultimately, he turned out to be, right?
Right.
So all we're saying is it's not that people do hook up and get married, obviously. All we're saying is the more time you give it, the more you can see the little things you need to see. Are they jealous? Are they controlling?
I think
how is their family?
The longer you wait, the more successful your marriage rate will be.
Yes.
You're going to be more likely to be married, stay married longer, or hopefully just stay married, period, if you wait. Because you'll be able to, like you said, find all those red flags and know all their ticks and other what triggers. There you go, the triggers. That's what it is.
Y'all know Steve Harvey wrote a book, Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. And the thing about it is, I think his advice was sound. He has the 90-day rule for a reason. I don't agree with that, only because a man that really just wants to use you and play you for the coochie is going to wait 90 days. And then he's going to do it, and then he's going to dump you anyway. There is no foolproof. There's no time. There's no number. This is about time to see and let them show and prove. Now, we can meet and have an instant chemistry and go, oh my God, you're so cool, and we become really close or whatever. But the truth is, I tell people, if you want to know somebody, wait until you go through a hardship. Wait until go on a road trip together. Get locked in the car together. That will definitely tell you. But this is the proof. The proof is in the pudding, as they say, guys. The proof is that look at the divorce request with COVID. Something hard finally really came up. Yeah, the world's hard anyway. But we're talking about we had to go into survival mode. That is when you really know somebody. So if you hook up on the first date and you start the relationship instantly, when things come up, you don't know what your survival strategy is.
Right.
Is your mentality, it's me and you against the world? Is it me, myself, and I against the world? Or is it me and my network? Right? And if y'all don't operate on the same way in major life stressful situations, that is why the divorce request went up 50% within the first 3 months of COVID, the first 3 months of lockdown, right? You should be able to not only strengthen your relationship, but come out with a new book, come out with a new project, come out with a new idea, build something together. But if you're literally getting divorced just because you're confined to your home, you didn't have this solid foundation. So that's what we're trying to tell you guys. It's not about judgment. It's not. There's spiritual beliefs that are tied to it. That's your beliefs. But the thing is what I'm trying to tell you is you have to build a house on a solid foundation. You build it on quicksand, it will crumble. What do you think?
I completely agree. You need the foundation. That's why most relationships don't work, because there is no foundation. It's like an empty hallway. There's nothing in it. You have a house, mm-hmm. but you have no furniture. Mm-hmm. It's completely empty. So you need, you need the foundation for the house to go, the furniture to go in. But if you only have the foundation, you have nothing else to go with it. Nothing at all. So you have the sex. You have the physical attraction, you have some likeness, but you don't really know them, so everything else is empty. It's just a mystery to you, so you have nothing, You have to have something there in order for a relationship to work, because, that's the whole purpose, is we're trying to match with ourselves, and if we can't match with ourselves because there's nothing there to match, how are you having a relationship?
And think past yourself. Okay, if this is going to be the father or mother of your children, I tell my son this all the time because we're so quick to talk to the girls. But the reality is when I talk to the guys, I tell my son, don't just look at her face or her ass. This is the potential mother of your children every time you have sex with somebody. Is this the person you want raising your kids? Look how many divorces there are, and they're so bitter and hostile and ugly, because they didn't get to know the person before, right? And I think it's really just about how do you handle things once you do have kids together? Because believe it or not, even parenting your own kids together can cause division. You need to talk about what you see, how did you grow up, what's your belief system, especially when it comes to religion, politics, and kids. Those are the top 3 deal breakers right there, outside of the obvious money and infidelity. But those are like the 5 big ones, right? So number 1 is if you just don't sleep with them on the first night, you will filter out the wrong men. What'd you say?
Oh, no treats from me on the first date, 2 or 3.
Exactly. And again, let me stress this, guys. It's not about the number of days. It's not about the number of months. It's not about any of that. It's about learning to trust your intuition. It's about learning to check with God before. Y'all need to learn about soul ties. That's first of all. Soul ties are very real. You wonder why you're so jacked in the head and you can't get over people and you're trying to move on and you're bringing all your baggage into the last one. The more people you're sleeping with, the more you are tying your spirit to that person, right? So this is deeper than just the sex part. But every single person that you're giving your body to, that is going to potentially bring more damage to you in the long run. You got to filter this out. Find out if they're married. Find out if they're a hoe. Find out if they need a place to live. Okay? At least find out. At least date them long enough to check it. Like, oh, you do have a job. Oh, you do have this.
But, I mean, I also want to check the bulge, too, to see if it's
Oh,
worth it. You know what I'm
man,
saying?
that's a man, though. If this is a man, that's what, you know.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, like, I don't see nothing wrong with a hookup here and there.
And I'm not trying to be funny. Okay?
I'm not trying to be funny either. I mean, I really don't see nothing wrong with a hookup
No, but I
here,
have a question
especially
for you.
if you're both okay with it.
Because, you know, as a girl who, like, you know, we all like to check out the bulge. But the bulge is very deceptive because it could be a bunch of balls.
Hey. I say it out there and it comes in over here. Okay? Like, I'm going to forget my own words.
But I'm kidding. But what I'm thinking is, but some people are growers and not showers. So the bulge can be deceptive.
It really can. It really
You
can.
can't really, we digress. We're talking about.
But I'm still telling you, basketball shorts will tell everything.
Ooh.
Basketball shorts are going to tell you whether it's balls or package. Okay?
All right, guys.
I was just saying.
Back to why you shouldn't be looking at bulges, because then you're going to wind up hooking up with somebody on the first date. All right, guys. So number 1, it definitely filters out the wrong men. Number 2, protect your heart.
Yeah.
Don't you think you should protect your heart? Studies have shown that women, unlike men, release the hormone oxytocin when they sleep with someone. That we are hardwired to release a chemical that will bond us for procreation and for mating, so that we will stick to that one person. What do you think?
I mean, from my perspective, I think it's easier for men to have meaningless sex. You know, there's
100%.
no emotional attachment. Like,
But women are just like, a lot of women are like that now.
okay, yeah, you know, I mean,
Because we got tired of that. Y'all can do it. We can't. I remember this in the 90s. It was like, oh, that's what y'all want to do. Y'all don't want to catch feelings. Y'all want to hook up. And we literally became like what we hate the most. So now 2 wrongs will make a right? Or is everybody confused and everybody's annoyed? And I think everybody's tired of the hookup culture.
I mean, I don't know, because if they were so tired of the hookup culture, then there wouldn't be new hookup apps every day coming out.
Well,
you know? Or dating apps that are supposed to be meant for finding love, and people turn them into hookup apps.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, is that even though there are hookup apps out there, it's how you use it is up to you. But I just feel like the Generation Z actually is, I saw something recently about Generation Z saying Generation Z is tired of the hookup culture. They're tired of it. The millennials and above, Generation X, everybody's kind of tied into the hookup culture, right? Because I remember Generation X, we were on the forefront of like being very promiscuous and forget society norms and rebelling against the machine, so to speak. But Generation Z, I've read something recently. Generation Z is tired of the hookup culture to a point. They're trending with FaceTime dates. So instead of actually going to an actual real date, they want to FaceTime you and have a date that way. And I think that's great. I really think that's great, because the more you can, because we're animals, okay? I mean, we're all animals. I mean, we all want to around, you know? But I think the more you can put preventative measures in place, because we are animals, and when there's attraction, you do want to pounce, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the FaceTime dates are a good way to kind of like help monitor the lust.
I don't know.
Or keep it at bay for a minute.
The only reason I don't like FaceTime dates is because I just feel like people, just like with Instagram, you know, they stunt too much. Like, you don't get to really meet or vibe with the real person, you know? Like, you get to vibe with what they want you to see.
But that's it. Yeah, it could be in person too, though.
I don't know. I mean, in person, it's easier to read somebody's body language than it is through FaceTime. You know, FaceTime, they can literally, like, I can only probably see their face, if not just from their chest up. So then, you know, like, I can only see their facial expressions. And some people are really good at hiding that facial expressions, but the rest of their body language, they won't even know that they're doing stuff.
All he's doing is proving the point why you shouldn't sleep with them on the first date. Because they could be hiding. That's what we're saying. Give it time. Protect your heart. That's number 2. Protect your heart. Protect your heart. And protect your heart. All right, guys. All right, protect your heart. That's what we're talking about today. Protect your heart.
I will say it does
Protect your
hurt.
wallet.
It does hurt when you find somebody really good and then they just cut you off for no reason. You know, so I mean, I'll give you that part. Okay,
Yeah,
but I still think it's fun.
I mean, it is. Again, we're qualifying this. If you're just looking for a hookup, go hook up. Go do whatever you want. All right. Shamir says, DJ, you cold. Hey, Shamir. Hey, Wendy. But that's the thing, guys. All we're saying is, you know, listen, let me back all the way up. There's no formula. We know biblically what we're taught. We know, like, from a spiritual standpoint, every religion has this is how you do it, right? Okay, but take religion out. Let's just talk about our gut instinct. You know, when you meet somebody, you get that feeling. You kind of get a vibe like, something ain't off. And after you've been to it, especially when you get to a certain age, and if you're a former player, you start recognizing the signs.
I mean, you know, if you play the game, you know the game. So, you know, like, you're going to see the signs, like, especially if you're a retired player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm retired, but I still know all the signs. I still know how to play the game very well. Don't get me wrong. I don't play it no more, but I know how.
Yeah.
And so I know when somebody's trying to play the game on me. They may be a little better, but I always catch the signs. Always catch the signs.
I just think to save yourself the heartache and pain is engage your senses a little bit more. You can sense if something's off, but if you immediately just jump in bed, you don't have time to really kind of feel. I mean, it's just the time to filter out that. It's like a fact checking. It's like if you walked into a job today and said, "Hey, I'm qualified. I have a degree. I have a master's degree in this, and I'm this and this and that." Most jobs are gonna be like, "Okay, we're gonna verify it, and we're gonna get back to you." Right? How many jobs are you gonna walk in with all these grandiose achievements, and then they're just gonna believe you? Why would we do that with our body? Why would we do that with our heart? Why would we put our mind through that? It's because we are lustful beings, you know? The kitty and the package wants what it wants, okay? But number 3...
Stay objective. Instead of letting initial sexual chemistry or hormones distort your judgment, holding out on sex lets you properly assess a man's personality.
I don't think I'm going to let him read any more because...
Without getting blindsided by early attachment.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like you get to know my personality right when you meet me. So,
But as a man, you don't have to deal with the one thing that we have to deal with. We chemically release a chemical to attach every single person. Have you ever thought about that? Even back in my hoe days, even back when I would hook up with guys, I didn't really care about like that. It was crazy because there's still something that makes you always still think about them or you remember them. You know what I mean? They're still in your soul. They're soul tied. They are still in your space. As a guy, you don't have to deal with that. You can go hook up, on to the next, and never think about them again. But as women, we literally attach.
Not necessarily, because there are times where...
No, I'm saying pure biology. We literally...
I get it, but I'm saying that, like, not all the time can men just, walk away. Like, sometimes we do get attached. It's, like, again, if it's, especially if it's really
Do you think that's true from a first hookup? So remember, we're not talking about dating over time. I'm saying, have you ever hooked up with one person one night and then boom, you were attached instantly for one time?
Yes. I'm telling you, good sex, good D will make you do some crazy
does.
stuff.
Good D will have you in a whole relationship you have no business being
I'm just saying,
That's real. We got somebody writing in. What you saying?
That's not true. That's not true. You can't talk for every single man. That's not the way it is.
Listen, I'm not talking for every single man. I'm talking for women. I am not talking to men today. I'm talking to the women of why you should not sleep with him on the first date. And again, as we said before, there is no cookie cutter. There is no one way to do it. There is no right way and wrong way. I'm just trying to give you advice as a relationship expert what not to do to increase the odds that you'll find a monogamous, committed relationship. You can go sleep with anybody you want to if you're open to casual, whatever. Let the cards fall where they may. All we're saying is you have a little more controlled approach to it. You will have a little bit better results usually, and there's always an exception to the rule. So before everybody starts writing in their comments, just understand I'm saying there is no way. I'm saying I'm just trying to teach you how to build a solid foundation so that you build your house on the concrete and not the sand. I mean, and I'll go devil's advocate. You can be with somebody 20 years and then find out there's somebody else because we all change, right?
Yeah, no, it's true.
There's no formula, guys. Don't get it twisted. There's no formula. It's just we're saying if you don't sleep with somebody on the first date, it allows you to protect your heart, protect your mind, stay objective. Because when you get your emotions involved, that is when we lose all sense of control. When we're dealing with our heart and our mind, that's a totally different subject. Number 4, if you don't sleep with him on the first date, I feel like the more that you have to fight for something, the more valuable it seems. Make him see your value. Just imagine getting a free pen from the office versus spending weeks saving up for a gold pen with your name ingrained on it. So yeah, you can go get the cheap pen or you can get the quality. And over time, people that know their worth are not just going to give up the cookies. Women are not going to do that. They're not. Listen, this goes back to another subject of healed and unhealed. When you're unhealed, you will be more codependent. You will have more abandonment issues. You will jump into anything trying to get somebody to love you and take the risk. But once you know your worth and you know that you are a treasure in yourself, and it has nothing to do with your cookie or nothing like that. But I'm saying once you're healed and you know who you are, you're not just going to be out giving it away by the pound. Men can get coochie before they get a cheeseburger. How are you different? You have to stand out nowadays. That's all I'm trying to say. So I think they just see your value a little bit more if you're not just giving it up. Because here's one thing about it. Men will judge you. Whatever you did with them, they're going to see it the same way that they're going to think you did it. So if I slept with somebody on the first date, they're going to automatically think that I do that with every guy that I meet. And even though I might not, and he might be the exception, he's still going to form an opinion about me. And y'all can say whatever the hell you want. But I'm going to tell y'all one thing. Women have changed. Men have not changed. And men still have the attitude, you don't turn the hoe into the housewife. And so while we're sitting here fighting for equal rights to be able to be free, to be able to bang who we want, at the end of the day, nobody is winning in that situation because nobody's really getting what they want out of it. Yeah, you get to bust a nut for the day, but then what do you have past that? What happens? Is it on the thing? Yeah, it's on there. Interesting. But anyway, guys, but what do you think? I mean, I'm just rambling, but what do you think? Because this is just my professional opinion.
I mean, I know we can't speak for every guy out there.
Right.
But as a guy myself, who dates guys, I can tell you that it is true, though. It's so much easier for men to just go and hook up and move on and not think about it twice. It's very rare when a man does go and get attached after a one-night stand. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, unless it's some really good, then it's it's a different story. But generally speaking, it's very easy for men to just go and hook up, not even ask for a name. You know what I'm saying? And not care if you're there the next morning. Like that's just how it goes. I mean, that's what men are wired to do, though. Remember, when we were put on this earth, it was not populated. So our brains are hardwired to populate. Mate as much as we can, wherever we can, with whoever we can.
That's right.
And that's why, as men, we don't have that biological hardwiring in our brain that says, you have to be attached to everybody you sleep with.
Yeah, because if you remember back in the day, men had multiple wives, and it was a very normal thing.
Exactly.
Back when we were trying to populate the earth.
I mean,
well, now they're trying to kill us all because there's too many damn people on the earth. But see, we figured out that philosophy didn't work too well. Okay, now we're overpopulated. Now what?
Well,
At the end of the day, guys, it is really about, no matter how easy it is to get access to your body, your inherent value never changes. But number 5, reason why you should not sleep with him is your health matters. Never forget how valuable and sacred your body is and protect it accordingly. Don't sacrifice your long-term health and safety for a rush of feelings without taking the necessary precautions. We have too many single parents out here, and this is the problem. This is where I can see the disconnect or the problem in it, is that yes, I was a single mom. Yes, my daughter's a college graduate. Yes, my daughter's married. She's an amazing woman. She's 26, never had any kids. So I beat it in her. Don't do it how I did it. The thing is this is not a place of judgment. I've done it that way. The single mom. If y'all can do it, we can. F you. I'll do it by myself. And raise the kid by myself my whole life. Right? So all I'm saying is, as a single mom who's been there and done it as a single mom, yes, it can be done.
Yeah.
But statistically, kids that come from a single parent home have a 70% chance of winding up in jail, dead, suicide, drugs, depressed. Why do you think these kids are shooting up the school? We have now successfully kicked men out of the home in the sense of, I don't need a man, I don't need you. But guess who does? The kids. And yes, you can co-parent and you can get along fine. But all I'm saying is we are going away from the way it was designed. This is where women, I think, have a little backwards. And I'm just not Kevin Samuels for a minute here. But this is where women have it backwards. We were created as a helpmate to men. And men run the world. Only in America do women have this much freedom and liberty. Most places in the world, we are still a second-class citizen. And that's what we're fighting against. We don't want to be a second-class citizen. But becoming what we hate the most, which is a hoe, that is not going to get a man to change him being a hoe. You see what I'm saying? We've become like what we hate the most. And that's all I'm trying to say is, I don't give a damn what society says or what you see on TV or what people say is cool. At the end of the day, protect yourself. Just slow down. Don't be so damn thirsty.
I mean, you know, my motto is always no glove, no love. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. Yes.
Because I mean, you know, that's why I do say, like, it is bad, you know, with the hookup culture. There are so many things you got to worry about. I mean, I got lucky, you know, I don't have to worry about pregnancy, but I got to worry about so many other things, you know. There's STDs out there. There's
Seriously.
other things besides STDs you can catch, you know. So it's just, so, you know, you do got to protect yourself. And that's why I always say, you know, like, I mean, if I do sleep around, it is condoms only, you know, because you don't know. And even then, like, condoms are still not that effective.
You know what? I'm in development on an app that I'm really just trying to see if I'm gonna pull the trigger on it, because it's called Positive Singles. And I mean, I think about this, and because Lord knows, God cover me, because I probably should have had some by now. But you know, thank God, right?
Right.
But here's the thing: what if you're that person? And I've had friends who have slept with one person one time and got herpes. Herpes, you can't get rid of. You can do your Valtrex or whatever the hell that damn commercial is, and I live with herpes and those stupid commercials you get, but it's not fun. Can you imagine having to go on a date? And it's one thing to tell, like, yeah, I got a couple kids and, you know, this and this about yourself, but how do you lead with, I got herpes? I mean, how do you start that, right?
I mean, I know it's hard because, like, especially like in the gay world, you know, the biggest thing we got to deal with is HIV, you know, and it's, I mean, especially with the advances we've made and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair that you should just not look at somebody because they have HIV or an STD or something. But I also say,
lead with that.
Yeah, you know, like that's something that I know a lot of gays that have HIV, and some of them won't even mention it until they know what their other person's stance is on it, you know, because they're too afraid.
That would be hard. I would be, I mean, that's all I'm saying is the more protected you are, the less hard of a time you will find trying to find the right person. Anything you have to explain before you even start can turn somebody off before they even get a chance to know you. And yes, they should judge your inside too, but at the same time, remember, it is a crime to have an STD and not reveal it to someone. So let me just remind y'all about that, first of all.
Right.
And there is a medicine now you can take that is a preventative for HIV.
No, there is.
And there is a medicine you can take even after, too. So HIV is not even that big of a deal anymore. I mean, it's really not, compared to like herpes that is you break out and you definitely can infect someone. Or because you can go into the remission where the HIV don't show anymore, but herpes is going to pop up. It's going to be like, hello, warts. I'm just saying there are things you can get that you can never get rid of, guys, right? And so imagine having to explain that when you have a new lover. I'm just saying, just don't put stumbling blocks in front of you. Just protect your health, and I just think you have a better chance. So that's our topic today. Is why you should not sleep with him on the first date. And as we promised, guys, our next topic for today, we talked about yesterday, is we want to tell you how to trust again. We've been talking about how to get over breakups, how to go on the self-love journey, how to be yourself and stay true to yourself. But today, we want to talk to you about how to trust again, because if y'all tuned in yesterday, we taught you how to go in and look at the 5 apology languages, which is so cool. That was really fun.
It was fun.
We had a little bit 5lovelanguages.com. 5lovelanguages.com. Check it out. They got your love language, you got your apology language, and your anger language.
Yep, I know. I still got to do my apology and my love language. I mean, I'm sure I know what my apology is, but I got to double check to make sure I know it. My anger, I got to figure that one out.
I already know, yeah.
I'm like, I really got to figure that one out, because I don't even know how to calm myself down when I get angry. It's but I do know my love language, you know?
Well, guys, today we're going to wrap up the show with this topic: how to trust again. Oof. That can be challenging.
Yeah, very challenging, because I've said it many times. Yeah. Once you lose my trust, it's damn near impossible to get it back.
It's so interesting because y'all know I've been matchmaking for 16 years now, and been a date coach just as long. And it's so interesting. I think back on a lot of the people that I matched and met and even counseled, and that's where Married Date came from. It's just everything I've done all these years to keep them together, stay together, and be able to say I've never had a client get divorced ever. Because when it really comes down to it, this is the one part. Everybody wants love, but then when it comes down to it, what it requires to get love is vulnerability. And that is the hard part. You have to be vulnerable in order to have love, right? But in order to be vulnerable, you have to trust. So today we're going to talk about how you can trust again after your heart's been blown to smithereens, because it's all been done to all of us, right?
Oh,
no one escapes heartache. No one ever, right? Unless you're just that cold.
Unless you just married your first love, which it's very rare when somebody does that. And usually, it's not a happy marriage. Yeah. You know, like your first love, I feel like you're not supposed to be you're not meant to be with your first love. I just feel like your first love's there to teach you, like this is the baby steps of love. Mm-hmm. So the people who never got to experience anything after their first love, I kind of get a little like, oh, how's that working out for you?
I cannot tell you how many couples wait until their kids are grown to get divorced because they fell in love in college or high school and then they married them. And then you see so many times, I can't tell you how many stories I've seen where women specifically will forgive a man for creeping because they knew they got him when he hadn't sold his oats yet. You know what I mean? That could be both ways. I mean, even I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. No, because I think at that point, then you don't. I'm not a fan of open relationships. I never will be. Never will. So I'm a little biased when it comes to this because I feel like if you need to go out there and experiment and explore, then you're not ready for a relationship. So you don't need to be in a relationship. And if you've already been, even if you're married, I think you need therapy. I don't think you need to go out there and creep. I think you need to figure out because in reality, what's creeping? It's just because you want to explore sexually. So why not explore sexually with the partner you already have? And if your partner's not willing to, then again, you need therapy so that way you can go and talk to your partner about it.
Because you're a man, you should know it's all about the strange.
I mean,
I'm saying sowing the oats. Most men, and there are some, and I know some, that have had sex with one woman. Matter of fact, when I got divorced, my rebound guy, He had been married, same thing, since like college days. They met in college, got married in college, got divorced when the kids were, I think his kids were like a little younger than mine, but we were neighbors, and that's how we met. And we were literally going through our divorce together. And I was literally only the second woman he had ever been with in his whole life. So you know what I did? I created him a Yahoo Personals dating profile, because that's where you go to creep. Created him a little profile and said, you need some experience, because he was terrible in bed. I'm like, no wonder she divorced your ass. Love you, but
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you're in a marriage, you're supposed to do everything you can to make it work. And the Bible says that adultery is wrong.
Right.
It is a sin. So even if it's consensual and you're saying you can go out there and sleep around, it's still adultery. It's still committing a sin. So I feel like, I get it. The strange is awesome. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time it's just because you're going out there trying to explore the things you want to explore that you're too scared to tell your partner. So just tell your partner, and that way you can explore there. I don't think creeping's the way to go.
I'm sorry, but I don't care what nobody says, but sex is not ever better than love.
Right.
Nothing it tops making love to your person you're in love with. I mean, that is the bomb, and you can spice it up. Get toys, get wigs, role play. I mean, there's ways you can spice it up. I get it. It can be mundane and boring if you've been the same person your whole life. If you let it,
right.
But the grass is green where you water it. So today, guys, we're going to teach you how to trust again. If your heart's been blown away, if you've been just devastated, have hope, because God will give you the desires of your heart. And if your heart is that you want love and you want that partner that will give you the reciprocal love, just be patient. That's where we get thirsty. We put people in our lives and then we ask God later, hey, is this okay, after the fact? Slow down. That's why we're saying slow down. Don't just jump in bed. Give people time to show and prove that they are who they say they are before you give them your heart. Don't be so unhealed that you're like, pick me, pick me, pick me.
Yeah.
To make them work for it. I'm telling you, you never see a deer lay down in front of a lion. Men are hunters. Let him pursue you. If he ain't calling you, he's just not that into you. Period. Point blank. That's a great book, by the way. And a movie. All right, guys. So how to trust again. This is a really good topic. Number one, that's funny. It's number one, because I always say this is my number one in my personal life. You must be self-aware. Practice self-awareness. Because you know what? How do you say it nice? If you are the common denominator, you might be the problem. If every relationship you've gone through and it all ends the same way, it's not that they weren't creeps or wrong to you. It's that you picked them. You are not self-aware enough to know that you are unhealed and you are attracting unhealed. Right. Broken, you know what I'm saying? So it's really important to practice self-awareness and get real with your own crap. Because as soon as you get real with your crap, that's the day your life changes.
I absolutely agree there. That my life didn't change until I became self-aware and realized, when I started looking at the pattern and like, okay, all these guys are pretty much the same. Why am I choosing toxic guys that are trying to hurt me? I had to become self-aware that I was choosing toxic guys.
Exactly.
Once I started realizing I was choosing toxic guys, then I started changing my guys.
Yes.
And no longer do I choose unhealed, broken guys. I choose guys that are good.
And what's great about that is look at just your own personal journey. People are going to be attracted to your vibration. They're going to be attracted, as you say, you read auras, that you're attracted to that light. You're attracted to what's in them.
Absolutely.
You're attracted to what's inside them. And when you're happy, whole, and healthy, and you're healed, you radiate a total different light than when you're still broken. And listen, guys, this is a no judgment zone completely. We are speaking from experience, and we've done the work, and we've gone inside, and we became self-aware enough to know I attracted that. Yeah. And once you can get to that place that you can get out of the victim mentality and stop blaming everybody for everything that happens in your life, I promise you that'll be the day you change your life.
I promise you too, because it happened to me. It really, really did happen.
I mean, that's 100%, guys. And I don't know how to do that. Oh, there it goes. Okay. And number 2.
Communicate. I like the fact that that's number 2 because that's one of the biggest things that I say all the time. That's funny. Your number 1 is 1. Mine,
Yeah.
You know, so
It is.
yeah. I mean, you really do got to communicate. I found that when I'm trying to rebuild my trust with somebody or rebuild their trust with me, I should say, I have to communicate first. You know, I have to let them know that I'm mad and I'm angry and I'm upset right now, and that it's going to take time to get through it. But you know, if you're willing to get through that period, because I can't tell you how long it's going to last. It depends on what you did to hurt me. You know, some days I can get over it overnight. Some takes a year. You know, it just depends on what you did to hurt me. But if you're willing to wait it out until I can calm down and get there and become, you know, but I'll communicate with you the whole time. Like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Or I'm ready. Or this is what happened. You hurt me. You'll be able to trust a lot better because, you know,
So true.
that's communication is your lifeline to trust.
And if you're the one that was wrong, don't, I can't stand when somebody's wrong and then they try to give you demands on how you should heal or how you should approach it. And it's like, look, you hurt me. You don't get to control how I heal, right?
Right.
So definitely, I agree with you. Communication, number 2, it should probably be number 1. Communicate is everything. As long as, if there's no communication, there is no trust. There is
Absolutely.
no trust. If you don't feel heard, or you don't feel like they can hear you or you hear them, it's not going to work. Number 3, love without your past.
Ooh.
Okay? Y'all heard it said so many times, don't make the new person pay for what the old person did.
Right. I'm not your ex. You know?
Heal. And listen, when you go through a breakup, if you guys are dealing with this, if you've gone through a breakup and your ex is already in a whole new relationship instantly, listen, the person that is healthy mentally and emotionally will not jump into anything, usually even temporary. I mean, you know that old saying, get under somebody to get over them? Don't do that either. I'm telling you, that's not going to heal you. That's going to make you feel worse because it ain't who you want to be with. It's just going to make you feel more sad and more aware that that's not who you want to be with, right? And it's different because you know when you're sexually with somebody, you kind of y'all have y'all's groove, and then you got to go with somebody new, and you're like,
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's just better to stay single until you are ready mentally and emotionally to be able to communicate and be self-aware and put yourself out there. What's number 4?
Fight without fighting.
Oh, I like that one.
You know, and that's about, you know, respect right there. You got to respect each other. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a disagreement. It's
And
not
you
okay
will.
to have a fight, though. You know, there's a difference between a disagreement and a fight.
Yes.
Because a fight means that both of you are right and both of you are wrong. And so you'll never get anywhere. You know, you just need to really learn that no one's right, no one's wrong.
Are you attacking the person or the problem?
Exactly. And that's what you need to go for the problem, not the person. Arguing with each other doesn't get you anywhere. You need to communicate that you have an issue and figure out what the issue is. You can't fix something that you don't know is broken.
I know one thing I've learned about me that's so true. Get to your truth. This is the self-awareness part. I know me. I am a communicator for a living. So for me, if I can't communicate, me trying to date somebody who's not emotional, not affectionate, very closed down, and even though they can be solid as a rock and loyal as far as not a cheater, this is where you got to be true to yourself, though. This is a self-awareness because I know I need all that. But when I try to settle for, well, he's not going to cheat on me because that's your trigger, because that's what hurt you was getting cheated on, you will prioritize which one you want the most. And now it's, I want a loyal person. But don't neglect the other 3 that you need, and be true to yourself and be self-aware enough to know that if they can't communicate or they're not emotional or they're not affectionate and that's what you need, don't settle, because there is somebody out there that is willing to give you everything you need. And if you have 80% of something, hey, you're winning. Number 5, give up the need to always be right. I say this all the time. Is it more important to be right? Is it more important?
No, it's not. It really isn't. Being right is not. It's not the key to life. It's not the key to success.
Because you're not always right.
You're not.
And if you think you are, go see number 1. Practice self-awareness.
If you are a narcissist, get out of here.
And that's the thing, though. Only people that are narcissists or unhealed will always need to be right. Because if you're humble and you're genuine and you're down to earth, you will say, "I can learn from you.
Exactly.
I can learn from you. I can
learn
learn
from
from
everyone.
anyone and everyone."
Everyone has something to teach. Everyone.
But if you're just that person, huh? You always got to be right. That's Leos. I'm just kidding. But all right, number 6.
So number 6, I feel is a little repetitive. It kind of sounds like number 4 a lot, but it says practice mindfulness, which again to me is just respect. You got to respect each other. It goes down to communicating. So I feel like number 5 or number 6 is just a little repetitive there, but again, it's the same exact point. You got to communicate. You got to be respectful, and you got to mind each other. You can't always be right.
Guard your tongue, guys. In Psalms, it talks about the power of life and death is in the tongue. And when people say, if you're one of those fighters that, I didn't mean it, I didn't mean it, I didn't mean it, and then eventually they're gonna believe you meant it, because that's why you got to go to the 5 love languages and find out what your anger language is, because I feel like anger is kind of like alcohol. The truth is in the anger and the truth is in the alcohol. You know what I mean? And so be mindful, because in the Bible, ladies, it talks about you are to affirm your man in respect, just like he is to affirm you in love. So if he's angry, controlling, jealous, that is not love, right? Hey, crack open the good book. It's got a lot of word, a lot of instruction in there for you. Number 7, this is one of my favorites, is practice gratitude. It's so interesting because I'm trying something new, and this is how fresh it is. Where I thought of this today on the way here. I used to, if I would go with a breakup with somebody, I would focus on what was missing, the lack. And as we talked about yesterday, we have to focus on the gratitude to it. The gratitude attracts more of it. And what I'm learning is, even if they blew your heart away, if they let you down or disappointed you, still send them love. Be grateful for the lesson. Be grateful that you learned more about yourself. Be grateful that you are self-aware enough to not waste more time. Be grateful that you are staying true to yourself. But the thing is that even when you're hurt, instead of focusing on the hate and the negative that you're normally programmed out of fear-based lack thinking, I'm challenging you today, and it's something I'm working on personally, to flip the script in my mind and just send love. Right. Just send love. Because hurt people, and more than likely, if they hurt you to that point, they need the love more than you do anyway. Let's go to the next one, because we got to get out of here. Running out of time. Number 8.
Give each other space. Ooh, that is a big one. We are not
glued together.
Right, and I know, especially when I'm trying to trust somebody again and relearn that trust, I have to have my space in order to go over my thoughts, to make sure I want to trust you again, exactly. To make sure it's worth my time and my energy, because I mean, it's just like cheating. If you're going to do it once, you're going to lose my trust once, you're going to probably do it again, and so sometimes
Same thing with abuse. They hit you once, you used to do it again.
Exactly. So, I feel like you both need space, because they know that they did wrong, so they got to go and take their time to reflect on it.
Absolutely. It's a heart grow fonder.
Yeah, I really feel like that's a big one. That you
it'll show you how much better you are off without it.
Exactly. So either way, it's a win-win. You either fix it and you get the trust back, or you find out life's better without them anyway.
Ooh. Go ahead and read number 9, because that sounds like
that's my saying. Get your life. Yeah, it says get your own life. That's definitely a big one right there. I know when it comes to trying to trust somebody again, especially if you were two people that were glued at the hip, that were best friends, and they break your trust, you got to get your own life. You got to start doing things without them. You got to realize, that they aren't.
Move on.
Exactly. God, that's get your life.
But because the thing is, guys, you never want to give anyone the power to control you or destroy you. Yes, you can love, but you also got to love. You got to get to a place where you are peacefully letting go of the outcome. Let go. My life is, I am not letting anybody steal my joy. I'm going to be happy regardless. Yes, I want to be with that person. Yes, I love that person. But at the end of the day, if they can't be those things I need, I have to love me enough to say, hey, this is not God's best for me. And that is how you learn to trust again, because the trust has to start with you.
So what's the last one?
Trust again. Just do it.
Ooh.
Trust. Just give them trust.
If it was that easy, though.
If it was that easy, right? But here's the thing. It goes back to not in love without your past. You know, don't make somebody pay for your present, right? Start off with 100. I do this with everybody I meet. You always start with 100 with me. I don't believe in making somebody pay for the past. It's yours.
It's up to
yours
you
to lose.
Exactly. I'm the
Once
same
I love
exact
you,
way.
It's yours to lose, bro. Like, what you gonna do with it?
Everyone I meet for the first time, I trust you instantly, which is kind of a flaw, but I trust you
I don't think
instantly.
it is
And
a
the
flaw.
only way I won't trust you is when you prove that I can't trust you.
Yeah, I don't think it is. And I'm not saying just openly, here's everything. I'm saying keep your guard up, be true to yourself. But back to the original advice, listen to your instinct. God gave you an instinct for a reason. It's that gut feeling. It's those feelings you ignore, those pink flags that always become the red flags that always cause you the relationship. If you take this one advice on how to trust again, is be true to yourself. And if it feels wrong, it is wrong.
Right. And with that being said, that's a perfect way to end
All
the show.
right, guys. Tomorrow, Thirsty Thursdays, we got somebody sexy on our sexy single sofa.
Yes.
Look at me next.
Ladies, we got one sexy hunk coming on the sexy single sofa tomorrow. Mr. CJ.
All right,
Hey,
CJ,
hey,
bring your fine
hey.
ass up here because we're ready to introduce you to the world.
Yes, and I know he is looking for his perfect match, ladies. So
Ooh.
y'all tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. We'll have that sexy single sofa out here.
Yes, I love it.
And don't forget, thank you to our sponsor, Mary Date, launching July 5th.
Less than a week away. That is mind blowing.
Woo! Monday's our first event. We're starting off with some margaritas. Ain't that gonna be
Yes.
fun?
I love that.
Yes. Make sure y'all guys go check out marydate.com for more information, or check out their Facebook page to check out the events we got up. You do get to try 10 events before having to become a member.
Woo-hoo.
Woo! All right, we will see y'all here tomorrow, 3 p.m. for that sexy single sofa.
All right, guys. And for more information, go to amberneal.com. Amberneal.com. We're getting people married over here. You could be next. So holler at your girl, and we'll see if we can find your Boaz too, girl.
Amen.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Peace.
All right. Okay, then.